Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been quite some time that I have been creating videos because for the last 1 year I was pursuing my own MBA from IIM Calcutta, so I did not get much time to make a lot of videos. But I have been getting a lot of requests from you all to come up with new videos, and so here I am. The topic of today's video is something which was in a lot of discussion back when I was at B school, and that is, should you be doing or pursuing an MBA in 2026 or onwards? And let me be very clear on what is my verdict, and that is a classic MBA answer. It depends. Now, I'll also tell you what it depends on. It primarily depends on four factors. Now, before that, there have been discussions in multiple forums on whether anybody should be doing an MBA or not. So there have been discussions by startup founders or people who have done an MBA and all that. But and here I will give my own views on whether you should be doing an MBA or not. But despite all of the information that you will be getting, my advice to you is do your own analysis, know your own position, and then take the decisions accordingly. With that being said, let's get started with today's video. So your choice of going for an MBA primarily depends on four factors. Now let's talk about the first factor, and that is the return on investment. For calculating the return on investments, you need to keep in mind some aspects. And the first aspect is the total investment that you will be making in an MBA college. People usually do a mistake over here and they consider the fees to be the primary driver of the investment, and they do their calculation basis of that. But let's say you are a working professional, you are not a fresher, then and you are making somewhere around 20 lakh of rupees per year. Now you will be foregoing that salary for 1 year or a 2 year period. So that will account to your opportunity cost. And this opportunity cost, you need to add it to your total MBA fees to actually calculate the total investment that you are making. So let's say your MBA fees somewhere comes around 30 lakh rupees, and the salary that you are making right now before an MBA is 20 lakh rupees. So your total investment for doing an MBA is 50 lakh rupees and not 30 lakh rupees. Okay. Now, let's calculate the future cash flows that you will be making. Now, I'll give a disclaimer over here. The future cash flows is based on the assumption, and that is not a verified fact, right? Because you do not know how much money you will be making in the future. Now, to calculate the return on investment in industry, there are two processes that's followed. One is the internal rate of return, and another is the net present value. Now, I can go on to discuss about the internal rate of return or net present value in length, but that is not the context of today's video. So I'll park it for some other video. Now, in order to calculate the net present value, let's say making around 30 lakh of rupees of salary post your MBA. So for that, you need to discount it with a discount rate, and the discount rate is basically an interest rate. So you need to discount your future cash flows to the present time, and then you need to subtract your that value that you will be getting for all the future cash flows with the investment that you are making. And let's say the value comes out to be positive, then you will be in a positive return on investment. And if the value that comes is to be negative or zero, then you should not go ahead with that investment. This is a classic way of saying a yes or a no to any sort of project which requires some financial investments upfront. Now, I know it is not very clear to you, so what I'll do is I'll try to find a website which will help you to calculate the net present value, and then you can see for yourself. I'll share a link to the formula in the description as well. Now, let's talk about the teachings that you'll get when you are in a B school. And I can tell you for sure, MBA is grounded in practicality. The amount of practical knowledge that an MBA gives you, I don't think any other course, be it a certification course or even be it an engineering course, is going to give you. I'll give you one example. I was in my sixth term at IIM Calcutta. We used to have a morning class, and that class was based on applied value investing. So we used to understand what are the different stocks, how we should pick and choose different stocks, and go what are the established processes out there in the industry that we should be following while investing. So this will give you an idea on how to invest. In the afternoon, we used to have classes on corporate strategy. Now, whether you should be going ahead with the merger decisions or acquisition strategy or so on and so forth. That is also giving you a viewpoint on something where you will be taking decisions once you progress up in the corporate ladder. In the evening time, we used to have classes on the applicability of AI across multiple industries. So it keeps you ready for future opportunities and all the present opportunities as well. So that's the practicality of an MBA course, and I don't think any other course is going to give you that. Now, with the second point out of the picture, let's come to the third point, and that is the diverse cohort that an MBA college offers. Now, in a typical MBA cohort setup, you will be having people coming from humanities background, you'll be having people from operations, you'll be having people from manufacturing, you'll be having people from law. So you get to understand what kind of work they have been doing, and it is essential for you if you are to go in a top level in a top level business position where you need to lead the entire business. For instance, if you want to become the CEO of a company tomorrow, you need to understand how the operations of your company works. You need to understand how the technology works. You need to understand, if it's a manufacturing based company, you need to understand how the upstream, downstream, or middle stream of the manufacturing process works. So a typical MBA cohort is going to give you this kind of knowledge, which is essential for your career growth. And I certainly don't think any other courses, let it be a online course or a distant MBA course as well, is going to give you this sort of knowledge. Now let's talk about the last point, and that is the personal choice. And it depends on what kind of position you are in. Let's say you are in a company where you get to take decisions on strategic initiatives. And post your MBA, you will also be getting into a role where you'll be doing or taking strategic initiatives. And MBA as a course is not going to add value to whatever you are doing. Then there's no point of doing an MBA. Continue with whatever you are doing. Maybe shift companies to increase your pay if that's what your goal is. But certainly an MBA, if you look for an MBA only from the lens of increasing your pay scale, I would not recommend that. So understand your position, understand your short term and long term goals, and understand whether an MBA is going to help you achieve those goals or not. If MBA does not fit into your short term or long term aspirations, then drop it. Then just continue the work that you are doing. So, guys, that's it for today. If you want to reach out to me, I'll leave links to my LinkedIn, Instagram, email, wherever you find convenient, you can reach out to me. And also, I have started giving one on one consulting sessions in TopMate and Unstop. So, if you're interested in taking a consulting sessions for admission interviews to MBA or MBA related preparation, please reach out to me on those channels as well. That's it from my side. Thanks for watching. Cheers.